Welcome to video lecture session 2 on electrochemistry part 1. Myself Dr. Sanjeev Rai Pasi, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Government First Aid College, Yelahanka, Bangalore would like to present this video session. As we have discussed in the previous session, molar conductance is obtained as a product of specific conductance and volume of solution in cubic centimeter containing one equivalent of the electrolyte. Now in this particular session, let us see how molar conductance of an electrolyte like potassium chloride solution is determined using Wheatstone bridge. This method was initially invented by Samuel Hunter Christie in the year 1833 and later developed by Charles Wheatstone in the year 1843. But this particular resistance bridge is more often used in physics labs to determine unknown resistance. In electrochemistry, same Wheatstone bridge is used to determine molar conductance of an electrolyte solution. Unlike in physics experiments where we use direct current, here we use alternate source of current for the reason that direct current changes chemical composition of the electrolyte. Other problem associated with Wheatstone bridge is that solution of potassium chloride cannot be directly connected to the bridge. Hence, specially designed conductivity cell is used and it consists of two platinum electrodes whose terminals are connected to the bridge. Then, what is Wheatstone bridge? As I told you, it is a resistance bridge used to determine unknown resistance of the electrolyte solution. It is composed of two known resistors, one unknown resistor where we have taken potassium chloride solution in a conductivity cell and one variable resistor connected in the form of a bridge. Next, coming to the principle, it works on the principle of null deflection. By using the variable resistor, a suitable resistance is removed and null deflection in the galvanometer like detector is noted. The bridge is said to be in a balanced condition when no current flows through the galvanometer. This can be achieved by adjusting the known resistance R3, R4 as you can see in the diagram and a variable resistance R1. Coming to construction, it consists of 4 arms as you can see in the diagram, out of which 2 arms consist of known resistance, known resistances R3 and R4. Other 2 consists of an unknown resistance R2 where we have taken potassium chloride solution in a conductivity cell and a variable resistance R1. The circuit also consists of a headphone or galvanometer as the case may be and an alternate source of current at 1000 to 4000 Hz. A known resistance is removed from variable resistance R1 and null deflection in the galvanometer is noted. Knowing other resistances R3 and R4, the resistance of potassium chloride solution is determined finally using the formula R2 is equal to R1 R4 by R3. Once a resistance of potassium chloride solution is determined using Wheatstone bridge, cell constant can be easily determined by having standard value of specific conductance for 0.1 molar KCl. So product of specific conductance and resistance of potassium chloride solution gives finally cell constant in terms of per meter. That is specific conductance of potassium chloride solution 0.1 molar potassium chloride solution, it is 0.01288. It is experimentally determined standard value and multiplied with resistance of potassium chloride solution determined using Wheatstone bridge. So we get the value of cell constant in terms of per meter. So once cell constant is determined, we can easily determine specific conductance of KCl solution, that is unknown solution taken in the conductivity cell using an expression K is equal to cell constant by resistance of potassium chloride. So here cell constant is already known. Resistance of KCl is found using Wheatstone's bridge. Thereby we get the value of specific conductance K. Once specific conductance K is found, molar conductance or molar conductivity of 0.1 molar KCl is determined using an expression K into 1 by C. So K is specific conductance, C is concentration expressed in moles per liter. So we get molar conductivity in terms of Simon meter square per mole. Okay, next let us go to a new aspect, that is conductometric titrations. The titrations in which the endpoint of a titration is determined by means of conductance measurements are called conductometric titrations. A sharp change in conductance of the solution at the end point is determined. The principle of conductometric titration is that the conductance of any solution depends on the number of ions and their mobility. Okay, here conductance of the solution is determined at different time intervals, and a plot of conductance as a function of titrant added is called the conductometric titration curve. It gives two intersecting straight lines. The point of intersection of the two straight lines gives the end point or equivalence point of the titration. Okay, now let us go to the advantages of conductometric titrations. The advantages of conductometric titrations over the other conventional titrations are: the first one, here no indicator is required. The second thing, very small amounts of solutions are required, and the results obtained in conductometric titrations are sharp and more accurate, and also no precautions are necessary near the endpoint. And more advantages to mention, this type of conductometric titrations can be used for colored or turbid solutions also, and useful in the titrations of very dilute solutions and weak acids, and also applicable to acid base titrations, redox titrations, precipitation titrations, and complexometric titrations also. Okay, now let us try to understand conductometric titrations of different acid bases. The first one, to start with, let us try to understand conductometric titration of strong acid versus strong base. And examples where we consider hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. So the reaction you can see, it's a neutralization reaction. It results in the formation of salt like sodium chloride and water. Now let us analyze this conductometric titration curve. If you look at the curve, we have taken conductance along y-axis and volume of alkali added here, sodium hydroxide, along x-axis. In the beginning of the titration, the highly conducting H plus ions are replaced by less conducting sodium plus ions. That is because we started with a strong acid like hydrochloric acid, which contains highly conducting H plus ions, hence the conductance is high in the beginning. But when we go on adding sodium hydroxide solution, the highly conducting H plus ions present in hydrochloric acid are replaced by less conducting sodium plus ions. Hence, the conductivity is high in the beginning and decreases continuously as the alkali is added up to the neutralization point. At the neutralization point, the conductance is equal to that of pure solution of sodium chloride. Beyond this neutralization point, the conductance increases due to the presence of highly conducting OH minus ions. A plot of conductance versus volume of alkali added gives two intersecting straight lines. As you can see in this diagram, the point of intersection gives the neutralization point, or we can call it as equivalence point or end point. So let us go to the second type of conductometric titration, wherein we take strong acid with a weak base. Strong acid we have taken here sulfuric acid, and weak base we have taken here as ammonium hydroxide. same conductance is plotted against volume of ammonium hydroxide. Initially, in this case also, the conductance is high due to the presence of highly conducting H plus ions present in sulfuric acid. But as ammonium hydroxide is being added, the conductance decreases rapidly due to the replacement of H plus ions by the less conducting ammonium ions. But after saturation, the conductance, that means after reaching the equivalence point, the conductance does not vary much because the ionization of the weak base is suppressed due to the presence of ammonium sulfate. Here actually the dissociation of ammonium hydroxide, a weak base, is suppressed by the presence of ammonium sulfate due to common ion effect. Hence, the conductance does not vary much after the saturation point. And again here we get two intersecting straight lines. The point of intersection gives the equivalent point or end point. This is a kind of curve you get for conductometric titration between strong acid versus a weak base. So let us go to the third category, conductometric titration of weak acid against strong base. And weak acid here we have considered acetic acid, and strong base we have taken here sodium hydroxide. And weak acid produces acetate ions and H plus ions. Strong base produces sodium ions and hydroxyl ions, OH minus ions. So now let us try to understand the conductometric titration curve in the case of weak acid against strong base. So here the acetic acid dissociates slowly and it has got low conductance. Therefore, initially conductance will be very low. But on adding sodium hydroxide, the H plus ions are replaced by less conducting Na plus ions. Hence, the conductance decreases for some time. But on adding NaOH, a highly conducting salt sodium acetate is formed. So conductance of the solution is therefore increases slightly. After the equivalence point, conductance increases sharply due to the presence of highly conducting OH minus ions or hydroxyl ions. Therefore, you can see here in the diagram there is a sharp increase in conductance due to the increase of OH minus ions after equivalence point. So you get again here two intersecting straight lines. The point of intersection gives the end point or equivalent point in this case. Okay, the last one in this particular session, conductometric titration between weak acid against weak base. And example we have considered acetic acid and ammonium hydroxide. Both are weak electrolytes. Ammonium hydroxide dissociates as ammonium ion and hydroxyl ions, and acetic acid dissociates as acetate ions and H plus ions. In the beginning of the titration, the addition of weak base like ammonium hydroxide to the weak acid suppresses the dissociation of weak acid like acetic acid, and hence conductance decreases in the beginning. As more of the base, that is ammonium hydroxide, is added, the conductance increases. You can see in the diagram second type of increase. First decrease and second is increase due to the increase in number of ions present in the solution. After the equivalence point, the conductance remains almost constant, as you can see in the diagram, because of the reason as the weak base is being added to a solution of the salt which suppresses its dissociation. So weak base is added to a solution of the salt where suppression of the weak base takes place. Therefore, there is no much variation in conductance. So this kind of curve you get here in this fourth type. Again, you are getting two intersecting straight lines and the point of intersection gives the end point or equivalence point. Thank you.